Welcome everybody to this first of the month's episodes of Azureish Live. We're going to be carrying on from where we left off last week, where we were last episode, where we were building out our own Git Watcher to go onto the show. Now, eventually, you'll see that coming up at the bottom of the screen there. I am Liam Gulliver. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts who like to put up with me, Pete Gallagher and Jonathan Ralph.
Hello.
It's likewise, surely. We put up with each other.
If you want to contribute to the show and get involved as we go along, you can go to should be at the top of the screen now, our GitHub, where you'll see the Git Watcher repo. You can contribute to the code as we're going along, open PRs as well, and go from there. Really, well done, perfect.
Screen mirroring. Dear. Just up there.
So, I guess the thing for us to start with is really taking a look at where we got to last time and probably doodling out a little bit of where we're expanding things. So look, where's my full screen thing? There we go. That should change things over. Oh, look at that. Seamless. Right. So if I remember rightly, what we've got is so we have GitHub, and then every time we make a push, that sends an event off to our function app, which is in Azure. Oops. And we've got a C# function app that's just using a HTTP trigger, I think. It's just doing that.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
That's not. I'm not trying to draw a box. Stop being so eager, Microsoft Whiteboard.
I want to help.
And then at the moment, that output is just giving us something like a commit ID dash author dash message, I think. And then it's not doing anything else right now, but it prints that out to screen, I think, doesn't it? At least.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what we want to do, and we've been talking a lot, obviously, in the break between shows. You know, we run fortnightly, and the thing we've been talking about most of all is using the next step. So ultimately, what we want to do with this is put this into OBS at that bottom of the screen, where you've got the sort of pink animated line at the moment. And to do that, we need it output to a website of some description. Now, understandably, these commit messages will change every time we push something up to main. So what we've discussed briefly, and we'll probably carry on with a little bit of discussion here, both last time and the end of the last episode, is using the Azure SignalR service and Blazor WebAssembly to really progress things. So we've got, now that this is happening, we're looking at changing this to go to, I guess, is it the right term to put a message on SignalR? I'm not sure.
Well, you send a message through the hub. The SignalR hub is sort of where the messaging happens, where the magic happens, isn't it? So, but you're sending it through the SignalR service in Azure, aren't you? So, but there's a hub in there. It's basically an Azure function, I think, isn't it? Underneath that instantiates a long-running SignalR hub.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Anyway, maybe.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? We'll find it out. Yeah, that's all right. We'll find it out in a minute.
So we'll go in that kind of order. So on SignalR, that will trigger an update of the WebAssembly Blazor app, and we'll host that Blazor app in probably the new Static Web App preview. Because I don't think you can just host it straight out of a storage account, can you?
Sorry, say that again. I was listening. Well, I was trying to find the GitHub repo. Say that again.
In terms of Blazor WebAssembly, I think we're talking about hosting that in the new Static Web App preview resource that there is in Azure.
I don't think we need to even do that. I think we were talking about the possibility of using .NET 5, weren't we, to be able to do that? But if we're going to use .NET Core, then we can just use Azure Web Apps. Just use Azure.
I don't think we need to go that far, because if we're going WebAssembly, we can just use static file hosting, right? So we don't actually have to run anything. But I don't, if my understanding is correct from fiddling and reading up on the documents, it's WebAssembly apps can't be hosted straight out of a storage account, so that it would have to be into that web app thing. Now, if we were doing it in React, maybe I think we could probably do it out of the storage account. Obviously, folks that are watching either here on Twitch or on YouTube, correct us if I'm wrong.
I'm just reading Tim Hoyer's blog, and he seems to suggest that that you can definitely do it out of a storage as an option, as well as app service, as well as core hosting.
Oh well, I guess we'll give it a try. I mean, first things first, we need to write the code in the first place.
Yep.
So
the beauty of that is that then OBS, which we're using to collate all the streams, actually applies a alpha channel to background colors anyway. So we'll then be able to just add it as a source in OBS, and then Liam will do his magic and make it appear at the bottom. So yeah, definitely getting into a web front end is the goal of today.
I don't know if using an app service would just give us a little bit more flexibility in case we wanted to do anything funkier.
Well, if we're going WebAssembly though, I mean, that gives us all that flex in the first place, doesn't it? In terms of
being client side rather than server side.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in particular we can't. I don't think there's anything in particular we can't do.
It's your Xbox, is it?
Might be an empty box, but it's not an
Xbox. I don't. Do we? Would there be any limitations in the browser source for WebAssembly? Do you think? What is it hosting that browser source in OBS? Out of interest.
It just goes to a web page. So at the moment,
give it a URL, it retrieves.
But it's a mini browser, isn't it? It's going to
yeah. So like the three of us right now on the stream, we've got there's me, Pete, Jonathan. You're off to the side, and I'm assuming sound is working at the moment because I haven't really checked any sound levels or tweaked anything.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just checking. And then off to the side, we've got the whiteboard. But each one of our camera feeds is actually a browser source because we're using OBS Ninja to do it.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, some browsers do, and most browsers do, but some browsers don't support WebAssembly, do they, natively?
It's a fair question, though, is which rendering engine is OBS using? I think it's driving at. Is it capable of being loaded into...
I don't know.
Yeah, no, me neither.
It could be an IE8 browser window. I'm very doubtful.
My assumption is because it's serving this video, and the brief sort of looking into how OBS Ninja works last night is that it should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I found a little snippet that suggests that it is using Chromium Embedded Framework.
Yeah, good then.
I should find them.
Yeah,
maybe it's a plugin. Okay,
pop that link in the chat in Twitch for us, please, Jonathan, for everybody, if you've got it.
You can see whether that's actually a plugin or whether that is actually.
Can you, with the sources you've got set up now, can you point it to an existing WebAssembly site?
Yeah. So again, it's just any URL it goes off and retrieves. So
so we can point it to anything we like. Yeah, so I mean, we could test it, can't we, with an existing work? So I think the .NET Knots, the new .NET Knots website is it's hosted Blazor WebAssembly, but that makes no difference. So if I just post. And this is not promotion.
I think our automod is taking out the URLs.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's just rude. Okay. Let me. I'm gonna put in our live share chat. Put the link, but it'd be good to test this, wouldn't it? Because we don't want to go down a whole WebAssembly route, and then it turns out that the OBS browser source can't support WebAssembly for goodness knows what reason. But this is a specific question, isn't it? So it's got to spin up a tiny little VM essentially. So I just don't know what capabilities it's got. It should be fine, but
we have
that even if if Liam was running this as a web project on his local machine that OBS is running on, you can still just use a local host URL. So it doesn't have to be publicly available either. But for the moment, we were just trying to do things using cloud native tools anyway. So
Let's assume we'd go cloud native anyway, and we can always backtrack. That's kind of the point of the show. We're working out stuff as we go.
Oh, I want to fail fast, so
we'll
surely you can just add that as a browser source in ABS now, can't you? Or can you
the
not do
.NET
that?
stuff. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Try that. If it renders, then let's progress down the WebAssembly route. Happy that we've tested something.
Right, hold on.
I know it's hosted Blazor WebAssembly, but there's a chance we might go down that route anyway. So
it means I need to go to the machine behind me.
Oh well, that's
So
okay.
Give me one moment. I'll just quickly add it as a source.
Oh, look at that! It can blur everything but Liam off in the distance with that graphics card he's got. That's impressive.
it's so clever, isn't it?
Very.
So we're adding in what? So I've got a temporary source there, and then
Cool. Look at that.
what was
Spot
it?
on.
It was
.NET Knots.
your
Knots.
website's .NET.
Yeah, that's the one.
Did you say it was Blazor?
Yeah, Blazor WebAssembly. It's hosted WebAssembly, so there's a server and a client section to that project.
Well, it's not really. It's not enjoying the. It's not enjoying the formatting of that.
No, it's not, is it? So the CSS stuff that whatever that browser source gives you obviously isn't ideal. But then I don't know.
That's kind of okay though, right? Because we don't really need any formatting.
No, absolutely. And it was more. I mean, the fact that now we can see that it's rendering it. That's we're over that hoop. So all we need to do is just flex grid and center a line vertically and horizontally, and then crop.
Yeah, let's get the raw message into a browser page first, and then
yes, worry about the rest of the formatting after that. Sounds
good.
Yeah,
Jonathan, let me just grab your being able to add you. Copy collaboration link. There we go.
Thank you. Just don't have that saved.
I could just invite Pete from his contact list.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, so we've got that. Let me go back to Stream Manager in there as well, so I can see things going on.
Did you want to give people a quick look at what was popping out? Because GitHub was sending out a webhook to the Azure function, but you were able to look at the logs in the portal, weren't we? So
actually in GitHub itself, yeah.
Yeah, well, not in evening. Well, yeah, was it in GitHub or was it in the Azure portal?
It was in GitHub itself. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you get a response back, don't you? That it shows in GitHub. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
This is as much for me to remember where it was we got to as everybody else. You're in the portal now, I see, rather than GitHub.
I'm just logging in, putting my authenticator code in. There we go. Right.
There's a change coming tomorrow, isn't there, for Visual Studio GitHub integration out of interest?
There is, yeah. Stop using plain text passwords. Stop using the tokens. Is it? No, it's the other way around.
That's it. Stop using passwords essentially, and move to token-based authentication, which I don't think anybody's going to really notice. It's still going to pop up a authentication window for GitHub, and you'll log in that way and generate an authentication token.
So we can see the last time that ran, and we have the response that we get. So that's coming out like that, just as text. That's the flat response that we're getting, and we can see what the request is that's getting sent from GitHub is.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the first thing we need to do create. We already made a SignalR service last time. That's there.
Yep. Do you want to get that up on the screen just so that we can show people that we've got that?
I'm all over it, Pete. All over it.
You're just way too good for me. I'm watching a delayed Twitch version of what you're doing, you see. So
we've got that. The next thing then, I guess, is creating the WebAssembly project. Because...
And then take your pick. I mean, I've not done static web apps before, so it'd be good to learn that. But I know how easy it is to use an app service, no matter which way around we decide. And if we decided we want a hosted Blazor WebAssembly version, then it would work either way, wouldn't it?
Oh, I think in either case, right now, I think we just need to create the project. Or do you mean do like we did before?
I think. Well, do we need to create a whole new GitHub repo for that?
No. Let's just restructure this one.
Yeah, I've found. Well, this would be good to learn because I tried to do this. I tried to have a GitHub repo with several different things, including an Azure function and a web app together, and couldn't figure out how to because I was using GitHub Actions to publish the web app once you checked in changes and go through that CI/CD pipeline. I couldn't figure out how to point it at just that folder to publish that. It got really confusing. So it'd be good to learn how to do that.
I managed to do that on a personal project after some faff, but
it's interesting though, isn't it? Because in some ways, that certainly with Blazor, I've been playing with it as a .NET Core sort of from the command line, but I find that Visual Studio Code tends to lead you down into the one-click publish. You probably would end up with an app service anyway if you deployed using that tooling, whereas maybe if you were doing more things natively using command line, you may have to come up with more choices yourself rather than being led by the tool.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the way I do it, I create a whole new project on GitHub all on its own, and then I clone that onto my machine, and then a .NET new -- hosted Blazor WASM in that, and then I go into the portal and create a new app service in the portal, and then there's the CI/CD tools in the portal, and you can point that at the GitHub account, and then
repo, can't we?
and it generates the GitHub action for you automatically, and then perhaps a slightly different order, but you can then just clone that, pull the latest changes onto your machine, check in the changes, and then the whole lot just goes straight into the web app, and you're off and running. It seems the workflow there seems dead easy, but what it does do is gives you two separate repos at that point. But I don't know. I'm an advocate for keeping things simple at the moment.
I mean, so I've got my blog post up that I did for this a little while ago, around the WebAssembly based Blazor with serverless chat. I think we're basically going to follow most of that, I would have thought.
It certainly doesn't seem. Here's one I made earlier. You might as well.
See. How did you host that? Was that static websites or?
I don't think I hosted it in a particular way originally. I don't think I pushed it up to Azure in the end. I was in the process of figuring out. I think I was in the process of figuring that out as another blog post, and I've just not got round to doing it again.
Time, who's got enough?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we've got some decisions to make because we don't really want to have to backtrack all the way through this and choose something different. It'd be a bit of a pain.
I think our first port of call is let's create like we did last time. So we created a blank function, and then we published that. So I think we do that with the Blazor WebAssembly app as well, and then we'll do that creation through the portal of the static app preview and see how that goes.
If you like.
That feels like the right direction to go in.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm also conscious of the fact we're 20 minutes into the show, we've not written any code yet. So
that's life.
This decision making process is really important, though, isn't it? Because
that is true.
I mean, we're kind of doing it for a reason, aren't we?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Well, first things first. Let's create the project, because this is also going to be a good test of whether or not I have got the right stuff for Blazor installed. Because I didn't check.
Yeah, don't forget, if you're going to create the project, have you got .NET 5 installed on your machine as well as .NET Core? Because if you do it,
we don't need .NET 5, do we?
No, but if you have got .NET 5, it will default to use that rather than .NET
no, I
Core.
haven't. I've not upgraded yet.
Still got 3.1 then.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yep. So we're doing .NET new Blazor WASM, I believe.
We're not going to do hosted, I'm assuming. We're just going to do the normal Blazor.
No, let's just do it in here, and we'll just do it into the front end projects. Well, getting ready is a good start. And
we don't need to do
Blazor.
That's somebody sharp complaining, at least on my machine.
Interesting. I mean,
is it complaining on yours as well, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine's complaining.
Server initialization failed.
Oh, shit. I know what I've just done. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, we're before the watershed. You can't use that word.
Yeah.
No,
I've created it in the wrong. I've created it in the wrong folder.
He was quoting. He was saying ship it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, we're ready, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have you? Have we got a front end folder? Oh, did you accidentally create it in the function folder?
Yep.
That's pretty bad. Revert changes quick.
Revert.
Only we forgot to check in the last changes, and now you revert all them as well.
I've just done git reset. Hard. Should that not just delete everything that I've just done?
Not for unwatched files, I don't think.
Oh,
It'll do stuff that it knows about.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that
pull.
function folder. And so it's all right. We've not lost anything. We've not. It's all still there. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it function. I'm going to move the function into that folder.
I'm going to do a selfie while you're faffing, yeah.
You're going to do a selfie, live streamed selfie.
Promo.
Aren't you very 2020, Pete?
Absolutely.
So we move all of that into function. In fact, that doesn't feel quite right. Let me just reset that again, and I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. And I'm going to delete the function folder, and we'll just do it in front end. There we go. Close. So cd front end. .NET new Blazor button. Hurrah! That's in the right folder. I'll take that.
Hey, again, more real life. Who hasn't done that?
Exactly.
And that, everybody, is how you get yourself out of that hole. Live on a stream.
Always use Git.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. There's a temptation sometimes when you're spiking that you just go, well, you know what, I'm just doing it myself. But Git gets yourself out of your own
I'll just make sure.
Yeah, and
Make sure
certainly if you're going through a prototyping process, and it's a really good way of tracking how you got there, because quite often you'll take routes and paths that will dead end, but some of that stuff in those routes and paths can be really useful later on in the project, because you realize, that path didn't work at that particular moment in time because I didn't know X, but now I can progress through that because I've learned how to do that, and perhaps it's a better way. Yeah, it's good. It's also good for posterity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, yeah. I mean, this isn't working at the moment, but
what's it? The type of says components does not exist. What?
Well, I mean, it does.
Do you mean the vanilla doesn't work? You've done a build? I'm assuming that's what you're doing, is it?
That's what I was just trying to do. Yeah.
Oh, and a restore would have happened. Determine projects to restore. So, and you just did Blazor WASM. Don't know.
I did.
What's happened to the terminal? The terminal's gone all small.
Oh, I pressed space because I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Yeah, I think I know what Pete's meaning, because it's gone all 8
I've
column
got
on me as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have you got some teletext you can put in there?
Live share seems to have shrunk to a form of its shadow of its former self.
Yeah. If I can't answer read only as well, so I can request read write access.
I can make it read write for everybody. There you go.
Yeah, it really is.
You're now typing.
Mode. Yeah.
In your, it's fine for me if you were typing all the way across. It works on my machine.
Oh yeah, well that's it.
I'm just going to
push it.
I'm going to paste what I'm seeing in the whiteboard if you want to see what I'm seeing.
Brilliant, fantastic.
That's not particularly.
Oh yeah, that's what I see too. Yeah, I wonder, can we close it and then can we reopen that live share terminal? Oh, it's gone anyway. Somebody closed it.
I'll create a new terminal window.
Yeah, that'll work. There we are. That's fine. Yeah.
Much better.
Yep. To be fair, it was absolutely useless because nobody else other than me and Jonathan could see that. So,
quite. So what we've got is we're missing this components piece.
ASP.NET Core that seems to have not loaded. Is that it?
Yeah.
What
should we just do a full-on .NET restore?
I was going to do .NET -info and just have a look. Have you actually installed the ASP runtimes? I'm assuming you have done. Yes, they are. First one, ASP.NET Core app 3.1.6. What you've got? 3.1.302. It's a little bit old. I think it's what is it? 4.0 something at the moment.
Oh, that's the SDK. Yeah, you might be just missing the SDK then. If that's the case, then we'll update the .NET SDK right now.
Yeah, let's do that live because that's fun to watch, isn't it, everyone? 3.1.403 is the latest SDK.
It wouldn't be a real project if you didn't open up Visual Studio Code and get an update.
Pretty much.
I was saying just before you came online, Jonathan, I've got a little icon near my clock telling me that Windows wants to install updates, and I've had it there for 2 days now. I'm pretty sure halfway through the stream, Windows is going to decide now's the time it's going to force update.
At least we'll know where you've gone.
Yeah, I've gone to update Oblivion.
Now, the real question is it going to make me want... Is it going to force me to restart my machine?
No, it won't. No.
Good. Good.
It's basically just files, isn't it, and links. So it shouldn't do. Not even a Visual Studio update these days requires a restart.
That's an interesting thought then, Pete. I mean, does that mean that effectively we would get blocked if LiveShare was to try and run that on our machines? You know, that probably wouldn't.
I don't even know how. I don't think that LiveShare running on our machine is a fallacy. It's not really running on your machine. You're just saying
of course it's in a container.
You're into my machine, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're all into a single container, I think, aren't we? Possibly.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to restart Visual Studio Code to be on the safe side. So it might end your LiveShare sessions.
All you needed to do was close the terminal and reopen it again. But hey, you know.
Well. Best, if we're going to do it all.
Yeah. Well,
Pete, do you ever tidy up old SDKs off your machine?
No, I should do. I don't even know how you do that, actually.
Because it was interesting. Recently, a Java installer, I'd noticed that the latest Java 8 installer went and offered. There is an uninstaller you can download from their site, and it goes and finds all the old versions. And I just wondered because I've just done the same .NET Info on mine, and I've got at least 12 SDKs from 1.0.0 preview onwards.
Yeah, I mean, you should absolutely, I guess, get rid of the older ones, but only if you're not supporting something in production that uses it, of course. You're still targeting those older versions, but everything going forward should be backwards compatible. But of course, there's always some form of breaking change or bugs that can happen. So, I'm in the same position as you, I think. I'd be interested to know. I'll have a look myself.
Yeah, I've just put the LiveShare link into Slack.
Thank you very much. I'm just opening that.
So the interesting thing here is that it has actually not fixed it. So let's just go into the content folder. Let's try restore.
That shouldn't be, definitely shouldn't be doing that. Oh, that's ridiculous. How do you pasted into the whiteboard there, but I can't actually make it any bigger. How do you make that bigger when you do it?
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You carry on what you're doing. I'm prattling around on the whiteboard. I pasted my list of SDKs that I've got installed.
Louise says she's on board for this updating SDKs content.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that isn't...
This is the exciting content I tuned in for. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is real life, as we keep saying. This is what happens. So all you've done is just .NET New Blazor Wasm, yeah? That's all you've done?
Yeah. Nothing special.
And have you deleted that folder and tried it again?
No, I was just thinking that. So if I delete that
do
whole
that.
folder,
Absolutely, because it'll have created it with the old version of the SDK. So, yeah, building it won't help.
and we go
That might be exactly it then.
.NET new Blazor WASM out to the front end.
I'm not part of your collaboration session as well, by the way, now in VS Code. So
That's because, Pete, you weren't listening. That's why.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you go into Slack, there's a link.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. There you are. What was I doing at the time? I was looking at SDK versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that hasn't fixed this. That's still got that components error. I just done the restore as well.
Is it? I'm just trying to think of what's actually what we're looking at here. Is this on your machine? Is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that -- info was giving us what you've got on your machine, not in some strange Docker container that's got minimal operating system in it.
3.1.403
is okay, and you've definitely not got .NET 5 installed on there because we would see that
100%.
Not that should cause a problem anyway. All right, have we got access to that yet? No, I have to request access again.
You don't think that output error we were seeing, Pete, or the Razor server error? I don't. If that's unlikely to have been the blocker, is it?
Unless there's any extension updates, maybe. I think let's check that out as well.
We've got in the output screen, in the output tab, I've got a strange Razor server initialization fail error.
Yeah, mine's not showing that now, but that probably won't do because that happened in real time, wouldn't it?
That's Razor.
Yeah, it seems to be okay for me. .NET seems to be okay. OmniSharp.
Can we try it? Can we try it? And interestingly,
run the
.NET.
Type away.
So can we delete everything in there again now?
Yeah,
you might be quicker doing that because if you've got access to that file system.
I just noticed as well. It might have been in there for a while, and I haven't touched it for a little while. But when I was right-clicking that folder, it gives me the option to configure pipeline as well now.
Do you know, Git Watcher's got this Azure function in the top level, hasn't it? In that repo at the moment.
Yes.
And that's an app service already, isn't it?
Ultimately, yeah.
Do you think the problem is creating a directory within that? Should we move the app service function into its own folder function? You kind of did that.
We'd started to do that to start with, but yeah, let's do it again.
That would be better anyway. I don't like looking at it the way it is.
I still think looking at the 46 errors that were in the problems section before we deleted the folder, there definitely seemed to be something to do with Razor. Again. I do wonder whether there's something going on there. But anyway, let's try it again.
Yeah, so move all of that stuff from there, everything aside from those 3 files. Create a new directory for the front end.
Oh. See what I've done there is I've bulged it up.
Live in front of 600,000 viewers as well.
It's been a long day already, and it's only 1 o'clock.
It's 1:05. We've achieved nothing so far.
Well, we have. We've updated Liam's machine. Let's.
Yeah, either successfully.
So we've got those in there. You're at the root of the folder structure.
Yeah. Did you say you created a directory for the front end as well?
No. So what I did before, so when you're doing the .NET new and whatever, and if you do -O, that tells you where it was going to put all the output, so you can create the folder as part of that.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. So I should be able to. Up. I can't up because
it's upping on my screen.
Is it? I don't see anything now.
Sluggish.
Like, very.
It is slow. It is slow.
Bad. Oh, what is it doing? That's fine. So
what have you done?
Well, it's all gone to. I'm going to do it this way. Look, yeah.
Yeah.
Not working.
It's like you're at the arcade and you've suddenly got 5 tokens.
Yeah, it's all overwriting at each other. It's really weird. Ooh. Just try it on my machine. See if it makes. This won't make any odds because this is running on your machine still.
I was going to say,
So it makes no difference.
Let's do the restore that it says to do.
Restore succeeded.
So front
Server
end.
initialization. Value cannot be null. Workspace directory. Well, yeah. I mean, this kind of.
There are no problems detected. It seems okay.
Well, you should be able to F5 if you just get the and see if it runs locally.
Now it might not at the moment, just because we've got to set up the. He's successful that time.
Cool.
I see.
Build
It's your
was- the
fingers.
build was
Your
successful.
fingers. Your fingers.
Yep. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think I'm wondering if it was because of the function being in the top level.
Oh yeah, possibly. Quite possibly.
Maybe it was traversing back up to the root when we tried to do a restore and it was doing something funny.
So there's a good chance we might have broken the function as well by moving it. So we're going to have to tinker with that later, but we'll worry about that after.
I don't think we will. No, I think it'll be fine. But anyway, let's see. I've got functions. Go on.
Let's commit this back.
Obviously, don't forget today is .NET Conf. .NET 5 is released today. So
yes,
it's worth tuning in. I think it's 4 p.m. in this country, GMT. So that's going to be well worth watching. And sign up as well. There's a competition running at the moment to be able to win one of, I think, 20 swag bags worth about $10,500 or dollars each.
Are you speaking at that as well, Pete?
No, Clifford Agius is. If you want IoT, he's talking about Handy, his robotic arm that he made for a child, a disabled child that he knows.
Oh, awesome!
So that's a fantastic talk. Although he's had to limit it to 25 minutes, I think. So it's going to be a speedy talk. That is. So that's going to be good to watch. And there's after parties and all sorts. But that's the third day, so that will be when Thursday. What day is it? Tuesday. Yeah, Thursday.
So, I mean, that sounds like it'd be great. So what we've just done is you should see a little info bar at the top of the screen in just a moment. We've pushed it to our Git Watcher repository, which is at our GitHub just there. But as I was just sort of right-clicking on the folder, because now the right thing to do would be to push this blank or starter kit-based Blazor WebAssembly project to Azure, is we now have the option to deploy to static website via Azure storage, upload to Azure storage, and create pipelines and all sorts of stuff. So shall we take a look at doing it in the portal for now?
Just out of interest.
Yes.
I'm just having a look at the GitHub and I don't see the function. So it's not tracked those changes.
Okay, give me one moment. Let's try. Oh, it's because we're in a subdirectory.
Yeah.
Let's just got to restructure. It's on its way up. There we go.
Yep, that's there now. That's better. Cool.
Okay, so we've got that. We've got our front end. So if we go into the Azure portal and we want to create a resource, and then is it called the Static Web App Preview? There we go.
Yeah.
We want to create a new one of those. And we're going to put it in our Azure Git Watcher dev resource group. Called AZL Git Watcher. And where can we post it at the moment? We can, it's preview, so not everywhere. So let's say West Europe, because that's closest. Sign in with GitHub. We want to grant it access to Azureish Live. Authorize that.
I've not looked at this before. I can't even see what it is you're doing there because my window is so small in Twitch. Let's get rid of the slightly better.
Largely guesswork, if I'm honest, Pete.
This is the point. Yeah, this is the point where I get a bit confused, because how does it know the difference between our function and the web app?
Pass.
Because
And that's the bit I'm concerned about myself.
Yeah, that's where it may not work being in a subfolder.
That's yeah, which that was kind of what I was saying about the separate Git repo to make things simple. But yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to do.
Well,
how does it know this?
So here we go. Here we go. So I've set the organization, set the repository, set the branch. We've got a build preset of Blazor. Then we can set the app location and the API location. Now the app location, I mean, we're all just in the one thing right now, surely. So that is front end. Cool. Don't need an app location, and the artifact location I think will be in www root when it gets built. Yep. So you can see that just there.
That's interesting. Cool.
So that means at least the startup.configure will be looked for in the subfolder, hopefully.
Yes.
We're going to need to add the SignalR.
Well, I've clicked create, so let's see what files. Let's see what happens.
Well, it should be going through the pipeline now, shouldn't it? You'd hope you should be able to see that. Oh, mind you, it'll deploy the app, static web app first, and then it'll do the pipeline, of course. So.
Does it? So I'm not 100% sure how this runs, but does that create a GitHub action to do the?
Yeah, I think so, because I think
so. It does.
In portal, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can see that that's running right now. We've got a build and deploy.
Is it a GitHub action? Yeah, it is. That's cool then. Yeah. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am relatively surprised. What do you get for the logs? Let's have a look. Come on.
Right now, it's a bit slow, but okay. So it's doing it in a Docker container.
Yeah, that's how this works. Yeah, if it's the same as how the web apps GitHub Actions integration works, then yeah, it's exactly how it does it. I've found sometimes that you've got to be careful with what version of .NET Core framework you've got installed, because it pulls the version down you want to use, but it should take the latest. But I found that it wasn't always, and you had to specify it then in the action. You had to go into the action specifically and tell it the version you wanted to use. Probably because the template they use for the GitHub action has been predefined at some point.
Okay, well, it's at least building.
Oh. This is fun to watch as well.
Yeah, we could always go back and add the SignalR client while we're waiting.
Yeah, we could do that, absolutely. We've got 15 minutes left. So yeah, it'd be good to get that added and at least the web app up and running so we can view it.
Yes, so, okay, so the last time we did this, or last time we looked at this, the SignalR client was fairly straightforward. I think, as I vaguely remember in the times of the last lockdown, there was it's basically a NuGet package that we add.
Yep.
Yes, you pasted the link to it, I think, in the chat, didn't you? In Slack.
I think so, but let's
core.signalr.client.
That's the one.
But we don't necessarily want to do latest just in case we accidentally install the .NET 5 one. So let's go to NuGet.org.
I think all of the .NET 5 stuff should be preview even at the moment.
In really?
Yeah, it'll just do.
When you say that, I think you're lying to me, Pete.
Well, it is entirely possible. I like to do that.
That came out 14 hours ago.
Look at that.
Yep, no longer preview.
There is a 3.1.10 then, so that must mean there's a new fix for or a new version of regular .NET Core, not regular .NET Core, the previous version of .NET Core coming as well.
I suppose no surprise as it's released today, so why wouldn't it be?
So let's go with the current 3.19.
Yeah.
Let's copy that and we'll paste that into here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Will that let me zoom in on there?
Beagle UK in the chat has said it started to go live now, yeah, so that kind of makes sense.
Awesome.
You would have thought there'd be just a big red button that Satya presses, or somebody, Mads Torgerson, or somebody goes and presses a big red button, and everything just
I'm
flips
not in the
over.
right folder.
A GitHub action that gets fired off.
Maybe that's what needs to happen. If software companies that do releases, even if they're releasing continuously, if they don't have like the 2 key
Jonathan's
go.
Xbox has arrived.
Oh yeah. There we go. There's the single client installing.
Welcome back.
So yeah, that's the SignalR client installed. Fairly straightforward. We're using version 3.1.9 because we don't have 3.1.10 installed at the moment. And when we downloaded the latest version, the SDK from the Microsoft site earlier, it was still 3.1.9. So it might literally be going live even as we speak.
Philip Schofield.
That's an old reference, Pete. That's an old reference.
All three of us would get that, but just
Yeah.
literally nobody else, unless Philip Schofield happens to be watching.
I'm sure he's vastly invested in watching us do some Googling.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so we've got the SignalR package there, but now we actually need to go away and create the hub, if I remember rightly. So if we've got our page, so we've got our index page, we don't need anything else. In fact, let's pare back the.
Oh yeah, get rid of that.
The whole thing.
Vanilla template. Yeah, we just want blank page, don't we?
So we want all of that. Where is the template? I can't remember. It's not.
Isn't it in shared and then pages or something?
That's the one.
Shared
yeah.
main layout.
Shared main layout.
Yep.
And we want to bin off, well, all of this other than app body. Going to be as clean as a whistle.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've got that, we're going to go to our index page, which is this index.razor. Jonathan, as you're in there, would you like to type the code to add the using in for the SignalR client?
You're on mute.
You're muted. We can't hear a word you're saying. No, nothing.
When that man came to the door earlier, he slipped the mute button on.
That's it, yeah.
And his password protected it. 56-bit encrypted. You'll have to use sign language from now on. You're going to have to make your choices, whether it's Makaton or another.
So, Pete,
okay.
whilst Jonathan's unmuting himself, do you want to add that using in?
Yeah, where is it? Is
Is
it on your blog, that one?
It is, yeah, that's the one.
Well, why don't you just do it now, because we're faffing and we've not got long left. We've got 10 minutes. Just go ahead and do it.
We're going to add that using in for Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.Signalr. Why are we erroring? Because it is there. Oh, we need to add it to imports as well, I think.
Oh, we can get rid of survey prompt off of that as well.
Oh, yeah, that can go.
Oh, hello.
We can get rid of all this. Hello.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I had no idea. I wasn't on mute. Just Ninja decided
fell out.
to not.
Interesting. Maybe you were swearing.
Maybe.
Do we need to add it in here as well? I can't remember. I need to I'm gonna do this.
Do it anyway. Yeah, do it anyway. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. I'm just going to be awful.
Does adding it in there mean you don't need to add it on any other page? And not adding it in there means that you are going to restrict your memory usage down, so it only uses it on that one page. Is that the difference?
Discuss.
Imports will get loaded on every page.
That as a possibly. Well, in fact, let's take it let's take it out of the imports there, because having it in that using is fine. I think anyway.
Yeah.
And see if they're doing a .NET build fixes that issue.
All projects are up to date for restore. Well, that built, so it's reasonably happy. Yeah. Of course, it doesn't validate syntax in Razor, but
Yes. Well, it should do, but it's still not.
We've got a squiggly. SignalR does not exist in the namespace Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.
Well, let's crack on.
Yeah.
So we've got that, and what we're going to do is we really just want a thing that's going to get updated, don't we? So it could be. Can we bind just a label to it? Is that a thing we can do? Because we were doing that before. Yes. No. Sorry. We can do. I think we need to create the classes and stuff for it. So I don't know. Let's create a new folder for models. We probably don't need to go to this nth degree, to be honest. But let's start as we mean to go on. Repo commit.cs.
I lost track of what you're doing now.
I think I can bring you here, can't I? Is that what that was a thing we can do?
Oh,
Okay.
models. Oh, geez, really? Okay.
Well, we don't have to. I felt like it was just the right thing to do at the time.
Let's just switch back to MVC.
No, absolutely. No, you could create one in there that's got, we could parse out that commit message in bits then, can't we? But I mean, what are we doing?
I was going to create a thing for the repo thing for the object that comes back.
Yeah,
no, it's not going to matter anyway because we're just getting a string back. Ignore me. This is nonsense.
Yeah, unless we were going to send some JSON from the function.
Yeah, no.
We're literally just going to stick whatever comes back out of the Azure function, aren't we?
Yep.
The Azure function. Well, to be fair though, the Azure function is going to.
We can just do it all in here anyway, and be dirty with it and just do @code. And we're going to have. We do need to. Do still need that, but we'll come back to that in a second, I think, Pete.
Yeah.
Because so in the blog post that I did around the serverless chat, we had I think it was just an unordered list.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're going to do private.
You can just do like @message, and then you can just populate that, can't you? Something. Just
yeah.
We don't need a UL because we only want one of them to appear, don't we? Yep.
Is that not? Hold on.
That's about it. You can put it in a spam, yeah, if you want. You want to be fancy.
I'm just wondering if message, because you know what, that should just be.
I might not like message.
We won't like it. Hold on. I think we've still got to put something out to it anyway. Until we define it, it's going to throw a fit. So let's come back to that in a second. So we're going to add a hub connection in, as far as I recall, and that will be what we use to connect to SignalR.
Yes.
There we go.
Yep. And then we need a uninitialized async. Yeah, it's complaining. I'm not quite sure what it's moaning about. You definitely added that SDK, didn't you? The package. There we are. We're making the Twitch stream happy now. The cat cam.
So on a hub connection, from there, we're going to want, say, the protected override.
What would be nice is a little drop down there that you can, like in Visual Studio where you like create a new form even in WinForms, and you could drop down all the different events and just auto scaffold that event out. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Can you do that? It's like if you're just
I think so. Like you can have some snippets. Yeah, I just don't know. I can't remember how to do it in Visual Studio Code, so I'm sure there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
What we need though, because what we don't have is the hub in the first place. So we probably need In fact, we might be a little bit further along than this.
Well, I've got some code for that if you want it.
Well, the thing that we don't have is the hub for it to connect to at the moment.
Well, but no, we haven't got the URL. That's all. But we can put the code in there if nothing else.
Let's do the code then.
Yeah, let's just do that.
So
along those lines.
So that's got messages.add. So we probably don't want to have a list of messages. We'll need to change that to messages equals encoded message, I guess. And we'll need to change this formatting above. So this is just template code from the docs that we pasted in there. So we'll need to modify that.
Yeah, so we can come back. We can come back to that. The thing I did want to double check though is whilst we've been faffing here, is our build should have completed, which it has.
And we should have a web app.
Which means we should have a web app that we can go to, which has given us a entirely different URL. But it is loading something. There we go. That's our app service, not app service, static web app preview in Azure, built from our starter code.
Tick.
So, one thing, so like you say, one thing we are missing here is actually having the hub to connect to in the first place.
Yeah, but didn't we create one? Have we created it?
No, we've not created. We've created SignalR itself, but I think we still need to have something like a function app or something to handle to broker the connections.
Purple Pebble, hey?
Yeah, just as you do, yeah. But what we'll do is we'll probably pick that up on the next show as well. I'm conscious we have 3 minutes left of this one.
Yes. Yeah, and your end credits take like 2 of that. So.
No, not yet.
So we've managed to learn that the crossing the streams between functions and Blazor WebAssembly didn't help us at the start. We've also
that's right. Yep.
Excitingly updated the SDK live on a Twitch stream, and
that didn't go wrong. That's the important takeaway there.
And we identified that with the imminent release of .NET 5, the .NET 5 packages are already live and available for people to play with. And we also proved that we could upload to a static web app service.
Yeah, so we already have our CI build there.
Do you want to check this code in, Liam, before we finish? Even though it's broken, it doesn't matter.
Can do. I can stick it on a branch.
That's a good idea.
You can create a dev branch and do that. Can you do that? No, doesn't it branch off the checked-in code when you do? I don't know how that works.
It would be local.
Okay, that's fine.
You're not physically changing anything by switching branch. You just only if you did a checkout. On a different branch.
That's fine. Good idea. I'm just conscious that you might accidentally create do a .NET new in the wrong directory again. Yeah, it's a preference, you know.
Brilliant.
So in progress, Blazor plus SignalR.
I think in my head, I thought we'd have some SignalR working today.
So did I, Pete. So
isn't that just a reflection of exactly how most of our development lives work, where there's about 100 things you want to do before?
Well, and also it's the learning tax. It's great. You can estimate stories based on happy path when everything works, but this is the reality of learning something new that you end up finding little trips.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I think one thing that might be nice for us to do in the near future would be to do like an extended stream of a day when we can, and we crack through as much of it as we can. But yes, so thank you everybody for watching, and thank you Pete and Jonathan for working through this. Apologies to folks who expected us to see more, but this is, like Jonathan was saying, the nature of what we do. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out in the way that we intend it to. But what we will be doing is tomorrow evening from 8 p.m. Our sister show Azureish After Dark will be on, where we have John Lunn, Derek Campbell, and a handful of other people coming along to talk about Azure, talking about AKS, talking about containerization as well, and we're going to play a little bit of Among Us too. for our main show for this one. The next time you will see us coding this will be on the 24th of November at the same time on that Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Once again, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to follow us here on Twitch or head over onto our YouTube. Just search for Azureish Live YouTube and follow us there as well. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.